So, part 4, and I promise this is the final part of the Jaguar service videos. It was a lot more work than I expected. I don't think I'll be doing it like this in the future. Definitely want to do a pre-harvest check on the Lexion, and we'll just do a literal pre-harvest check. We won't do this whole service. I like talking, I like communicating with you guys. That's why I do these sort of longer videos. But it's just hard work editing. I think an hour's film to edit an hour's film from these service videos, it's taking me like 5 hours, 6 hours. I try and make it interesting. I film a lot of footage, cut it all up and try and mix it around so that it works. Try and add a few funny video clips, break it up a bit. So it really is, for somebody like me who has no idea for videography, really hard work. So I'll probably for the time being try and keep more dedicated repair videos, dedicated more specific videos. Try and get a bit shorter, try and keep it under the half an hour mark unless somebody says you really want long play. But yeah, like I say, we've got loads of stuff coming up. Have fun with part 4 and the final part of the Jaguar service. Alright, you can see that we're now on the right hand, don't you see that, but we're now on the gearbox on the right hand side of the feeder housing. And the oil is very thick, very black and gritty, and I'm sure if you can see that is literally just that dark oil there, what's in the pan, that's all that's come out of it. I mean, there's not a lot of oil in here anyway, but that's definitely not enough oil. Strangely enough though, there is no signs of an oil leak. Usually this gearbox is a gearbox that tends to leak because it moves up and down with the top rollers. So this roller at the top with the plastic teeth on it, that's going up and down, up and down, up and down the whole time, and it's pulling this gearbox with it, and this gearbox is being pulled back down by the spring. So this, if anything tends to leak, it is usually this gearbox, and it'll leak from the back, either from the front roller or the rear roller. What we'll do with that is what am I going to do with it? There's not much oil, we're not wasting much oil, so I'll throw a bit of diesel in it. We'll run a bit of diesel through it. I'll let the diesel back out, and then I'll put fresh oil in it. I'm not sure what's in that, 2 litres or something. And then I'll tell the customer that, you know, after a day of work, we're going to have to replace that oil again, and then have a look at it. It could be that we find something now whilst we're doing the pre-harvest check, so who knows. Okay guys, if you remember, I removed this from here whilst I was waiting for the oil to fill. So now we've got the feeder housing finished. We have this gearbox here. Let's get a lamparoonie. I wanted to order a new light yesterday and I forgot. So this is the hydrostatic drive. Oh look, you can see rat shit. Oh, I hate rats. And this gearbox, we need to change the oil. It's all full of shit, and there's no way of getting this oil out of here properly without just opening it and letting it run down. The problem is there's so much shit and dirt in here that basically it'll just soak up and run onto the belt. And so what we're going to do is, because we have to do the axle gearboxes anyway, is I'm just going to pull the wheel. We're going to pull the wheel off. We're going to pull the wheel off. Yeah, we're just going to pull the wheel off. Okay. We're going to pull the wheel. Sorry. I'm going to pull the wheel off, and then we're going to remove those covers behind the wheel, and we can clean it all out. We can have a look at the other rollers from the main belt, and we're on the one box to the left hand side, so we can change the oil out of that. We can get the oil out of that, and yeah, let's get to it. So this is why it's always a good idea to take the wheel off. Just look at the shit in here. And like I say, when you got the wheel off, this is this is the box that we need to get at as well, and we can get at that better. We can clean all this mess out. We can get up here and we can check all these rollers. We can check the belt a bit better. We can grease this PTO, which is something that nobody actually knows you have to grease as well. And you can get the oil out of this little box, which is that same one here. Yeah, clean it all up and get it looking nice and tasty. Right, we've got this cleaned up a bit, got the worst the shit out, and been able to have a good look at the hoses for the tire inflation, and have a look around the hydrostatic drive, all the hydraulic hoses, cables. You know, you can get a good look at the belt. The belt is starting to get a bit, I'll turn it upwards, starting to get a bit dry rotted. You can't really see it from here, but there are a few splits in the rubber, but that is normal. I wouldn't change the belt for something like this. That's not enough. And you know, it's dry, but it's not slipping. Say here, you can see where the rats have been at it a bit, but she'll do this year. And you know, you can have a good look after the grass season, after the first cut at least. Keep your eyes on it. It's a big job, or you know, what's a big job? It's definitely not done in 10 minutes. You probably need half a day before it's done and dusted. And the belt alone is probably about €1,500 or $1,500. So you know, it's not just something you do because you feel like it. It is something that will need to be done next year, hopefully. I hope that she'll hold long enough till next year, and I think she will. So don't worry too much about little splits in the rubber. But when you see deep-seated splits, you know, that start coming into the meat, all these
I'm not sure if it shows up on the camera, there's tiny little splits in the top. But until the splits are getting to be 50% of the material, you don't need to worry. Right, I'm going to let the oil out of here, fill it back up again, and now you can see this gearbox. Basically, it's still not perfect, but you can open up the drain plug from here, and with a bit of cardboard you can literally just direct it down here, and it might dribble a bit over this bar at the bottom, but it's easier than anything else. So we'll get that done. I'll grease this PTO up, and here's also it's very important to grease it here as well on the shaft, because this is constantly moving in and out. Right. Here's another cock up that I've done so that you. What? Another cock. Breeze, it's good. It's all right now. Right, another cock up that I've done so that you don't have to is when you've got your chopper on axle stands, is make sure you'll always have what I call the flat side. Make sure you've got that pointing inwards, because I now cannot really put my drain pan underneath. Yeah. It's not the end of the world, and I will have forgotten about it by the time it comes to doing the other side. Yeah, and you'll have forgotten about it as well, or am I, or is it just me that's that stupid? So just think about it. I'll have to use bits of cardboard and I don't know, bits of pipe and whatever, but we'll get it done. So let's pull the drain plug out. And okay, so we've got the left hand side all buttoned up here. So, you know, like we spoke about, the breathers, blow them out, make sure they're all free. We've got fresh oil on here. We're using the same 8590 oil, and we've drained and refilled this here. You can see on the, it's about halfway on the sight glass. Also 8590, and the breather, there's a breather in there. We've had him out as well, and we've got him blown out, made sure he's free. And that's it for the left hand side. That's warmed me up a bit. Those big 900 tyres, they don't give up that easy. So I took the liberty of, oh my hair's sticking up. I took the liberty of taking the right hand side wheel off without you guys. Sorry, I know, but I didn't want to embarrass myself twice. What we're going to do here is obviously oil the gearbox right there, oil. We are going to remove these bearings here. Hear that? And I'd like to leave this wheel off for the time being because we want to get down here where the trommel or the drum, whatever you call it, where the rubber seal is. Hey dog, we're gonna get in. Yeah, come here, boy. Yeah, good boy, yeah? You good boy? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now, quickly to the gearbox. There's not really that much to tell and show other than, bear with me. Let's squeeze ourselves in here. Oh, right. Not sure if you can see. You guys are looking from the front towards the back. And there are one drain screw left. A second drain screw right. And a third drain screw in the middle. Right, now we're on the right hand side where the wheel has been removed. And if you follow the class guidelines, there's a fill point on top of the gearbox. The thing is, the gearbox is going to be covered in shite.
All covered in shit.
And hard to get to. So on the right hand side here is with an 8mm Allen is a oh, hang on. It's still quite full. Oh, there's a level screw that you can pump your oil in from the right hand side in there, and when it gets up to that line, then she's full. Okay, full, gearbox full. Now I took the liberty of draining the oil from this bugger here off camera. This is the main drive motor. So the only thing to think about with this is Sin FE75 V90. That's the oil that goes in there. That's the class original oil. And yeah, there's, I'm not sure if you can see it from here, but at the top there's another breather. So make sure the breather's cleaned out and breathing.
Is he breathing?
Because it's a pain in the arse if that gearbox or if that transmission is leaking. It's a bit of a pain in the arse to get it off. While you're here, just another word to pre-harvest check. Yeah, clutch plates. So keep your eye on them. And another thing to keep your eye on is this hydraulic fitting here. Not sure what you call it in English. It's a, you know, it turns and it's a rotating fitting, and they do leak sometimes. It's more common on the combine harvesters because there's more fine dust, but you know, make sure it's not leaking here. Otherwise, you will have a problem with the clutch. That is done. That's the last of the oil, the last of the filters. Not true. The AdBlue filter needs to be replaced. We haven't received the filter, so it is what it is. We're gonna order parts tomorrow. Friday is Easter, so we won't get any parts on Friday, but we should get the majority of the parts on Saturday, and we'll pick up the filter at the same time as well. First things first is checking the tension on these springs. These springs generally have just one tension. I can see the tension here is not correct. Hang on. It's not correct on this side. Oh no, it is correct on this side, sorry. This has to be sat down on this bit of flat steel. The other side obviously is knackered. I think we looked at that. Then at the front, we've got a few things to look out for. Stone damage. This roller at the bottom is stainless steel. You cannot efficiently straighten these out, these dings, okay? Now the problem is you can't get these, you can't replace these wear plates when they're all bent up. We've tried to repair them, but in some cases you get micro cracks in the material, and it buggers with the magnet as well, and the metal detector starts playing Harry Larry. Yeah, obviously you can and we can straighten them. It's just how much effort do you have to go to. Now we could cut them off and weld new ones on. It's something that we haven't done. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. You've just got to weigh up the price, and if you're ordering in winter, you can get good prices for a new roller when the magnets are right. So we don't do it, and generally these bent these bends aren't going to cause you any problems. The only actual problem that we have is that like I say, we can't turn these wear plates, or we can't put new ones on. So yeah, this is something we would replace these wear plates before the maize harvest, because in grass you don't really notice when they're not that sharp, and you can turn them around. So usually I turn them for the grass season and replace them for the maize season, because you need power for maize. The same deal at the top here. Check for stone damage. Be careful when working on either of these, because you are not allowed to use any impact tools. When you're sure that that's okay, check the guard of the PTO in here. They are known sometimes to go a bit haywire as well. Now what we need to do is, look, these things, they need to be in for maize, and you can take them out for grass. What happens is if you leave these in for grass, it starts blocking up and crudding up. And there's one on the other side as well. It's a little bit harder to get at. Most people don't know that you're supposed to take those out for grass, but you are. Like I say, the springs, we got to check that all these bolts are tight. Check that these, see if you can see this little metal plate here, those are clearers to stop grass winding itself up in there. Check all the grease lines. You will thank me if your grease lines are healthy, okay? And then another thing to check is on this, I'm not sure what to call it, an axle, is to make sure that where the hydraulics cylinder is fitted, that it's not broken out at the bottom. After a while of working hard, they did tend to break out at the bottom. Obviously this side as well, any grease fittings, cables, hydraulic lines. And then we're gonna obviously look at this this belt. We're gonna replace that. And I like to come in with a little breaker bar and check the bearings on here, the bearings on here. This is the trommel bearing, so we're gonna check that a little bit differently. By the looks of things, I'm not sure if that shows up on camera, but you can see this has been running hot. It's a bit dark, so just check all the cables, check the sensor for the trommel speed. That looks a bit dodgy, I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't see anything. Not sure if you can see that. This is a sensor. Ow, oh, I'm getting cramp in my foot. Oh. Yeah, so we need to check that sensor and the distance. The feeder house position sensor here, or potentiometer. Oh, nice, I've just trod in oil, for sake. For some reason the rock detector has got a screw loose.
You got a major screw loose.
After a while, well, I can see here we're missing a grease nipple, but after a while these hinges do start to hang, so you might need to reposition those hinges. So down here and at the top here, you might need to either repair them or just reset them, because it gets to the point that they start hanging and you won't be able to get the feeder housing door shut again without lots of wearing. On this side here we've got the brake. Now the brake looks okay. It's a bit I don't know, we might swap it. So now is the important bit, and that's with a breaker bar or something, you know. It doesn't have to be massive.
That's what she said.
And we're gonna check the bearing plate. The metal detector is very important, because that is the most expensive one if it shits itself. usually what happens is if the bearing really shits itself and you don't notice it quick enough, it'll run the bearing here or run hot, and where the cable goes into the metal detector, it'll just melt the cable, and you'll first know about it when the metal detector doesn't bugger out. You get a warning from the metal detector and you cannot get it running again. Now there's a little bit of play in the left hand side of the top roller and the right hand side of the bottom roller. Because it's the start of the season and this machine's going to do quite a lot of grass, and then the May season I'll change them. You know, you've got to weigh the options up a bit. How much work does the machine do? Can we wait? Can we not wait? But if in doubt with a bearing, change it, okay? Now pretty much the last thing we need to do is open the feeder housing. We're going to check the rollers at the rear. We've had it open once while we were doing the walk around, so I've got a pretty good idea of what we need to do and how it looks. And anybody who's watched that video will probably know as well. So things like the motor here, we've written that down. And we're gonna open this up. We're gonna have a look from the back, check, like I said, check the rear rollers. What else? We are going to check the bearings of the trommel, because I don't know if you can remember when we started the trommel for the first time, we had a bit of a death wobble. Right, here we go. We've opened up the feeder unit, and on the gearbox on the left hand side, I'm pretty sure we have a leak, and it's coming from both this box here for the header drive and between the two halves of the main box. So I have a bit of a feeling we're gonna have to pull this off, which is a bit of a pain in the arse. Now, something that worries me is here on the side of the box. We've got this massive damage. Now, you guys can't see it because it's not here, but here you have like a double U-joint with a massive spring and, you know, a box around it and whatnot. At some point, this is shit itself. As you can see, these lines, they've almost worn through the box. That is something that really worries me. Now, I would suggest we're probably gonna have to weld that up with something. So we're definitely gonna have to have a look at this. Probably pull the whole box off. Like I say, it's a real pain in the arse. Other than that, inside the feeder housing, we've got the locking mechanism. That seems to be working right. Now on this side, the spring for the lock also works. We've already established that we got to get in here and sort this out because the shortening stone wasn't turning itself properly. The knives are alright. That's so we'll leave them in until May's. We got to take the shaft out here, grease the shaft up. The adjusters for the shear bar, I always suggest not just greasing up that grease nipple, but on that threaded bar piece to cover it in copper spray or aluminium spray or something, because it really is a massive amount of torque that these motors here have to put out to move these levers and get the shear bar to move forwards or backwards. Down here I have just off camera checked the bearings of the bottom transport roller. Those are all right. Now you have to bear in mind that on the bottom roller you've got a bearing both sides, and at the top roller sits inside this gearbox on the right hand side, so when you shove your bar underneath it you'll lift the box up. So be very careful and look around the back and just see if it's the box that's lifting or the roller bearings inside. One side you have a bearing internal, so you know it all moves on this configuration at the back here. Check that these rubber stops are all healthy, otherwise it'll be sitting too low. Check the bushes in this lever here. Those are, I think, original plastic or Teflon bushes, and I think you can get copper ones or a copper alloy for them. The next thing that we've got to do is this scraper bar that scrapes all the shit off the bottom roller. Obviously that needs to be set up. There's two eccentric screws left and right. We'll take it out completely, give it a good clean out. There's one of the eccentric screws there, and the other one is obviously here. We'll take that out and set it up. It needs to be that tight on the bottom roller that it's literally scraping. And obviously this wear plate here, that's all a bit shagged there. So there's that much shit that's got behind this wear plate. It's bulging the wear plate out, that's pressing against this roller, and you can see the roller's actually started to wear away a bit. Right, from the other side, I think we've said just about everything. Always look down here on these bushings of the shear bar. Those look alright, but they will wear themselves down. These are also available in copper. Make sure, and this is what you should do once a year at least when you change the knives, is you have to do a torque test on the shear bar. So we'll take loosen the levers off, and then we'll measure how much torque it takes to move the shear bar. Right guys, that is it for the Jaguar pre-harvest check. Like I say, what we're going to do is we're going to at least get a video of the valve lash set in. We're going to do the tolerances on the bearings for the trommel, and we'll have a look at setting the torque on the shear bar. I think that's an important job to do. Most people just change the knives and don't do it. It's very easy when you know how. So we'll do that as well. Other than that, guys, I think we're done.
So if you've got this far, you've made it. That will be the last Jaguar service video I do for a long time. There will be repair videos, there will be videos on how to optimize, videos on how to set up, maybe videos from Jaguars in the field, but service video, that's about it for the time being. The Jaguar was very, very, very worn out. You probably didn't get the impression in the video, but I have spent so many nights, weekends working on it. If anybody's interested, I can do a list of what we've repaired, but we have things from the diesel tank leaking, hydraulic lines leaking. We had AdBlue lines eaten by rats. We had a break in the diesel tank. We had 2 broken gearboxes on the feeder housing. What else did we have? We had the motor oil filler was destroyed. The feeder housing was completely wrecked. All the wear plates, pretty much everything was just shagged. The one gearbox was worn in on the side, was almost knackered up. The feeder housing is a real pain in the arse. The NER infrared sensor is knackered, or was knackered. So literally there was so much work to do. It's a lot harder alone. My apprentice helps me. Thanks, Arnie, you dickhead. So he's been helping me out a bit. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't. I'd have probably given up by now. Hundreds of other things that I haven't mentioned. So me and Arnie have been racking up hours, getting her done, and that's it. She's finished. So lucky for you guys. Hey, dog, come on, come, hop up, come, hop. Yeah, we got best dog on. Dog. Look for you guys, we'll be getting some new content in. So much interesting stuff, more tool reviews. Hang on, I can show you something cool that I picked up out of the scrap. This is terrible for a class tech, but look at that. I don't know if you can see it if I focus a bit more. That's a big old massive Case International old school neon light. So that'll be going up. I know it's bad for a class tech, but it's cool, and it was in the scrap. So that'll be going up soon. We've got some LED lights for outside in the front of the workshop here at home. That's mint, so we can do more outside when it gets a bit darker. Yeah, we're definitely going to get back to the old timers, get my Aisha running. That's the first job as soon as the chopper has completely left the workshop and we've cleaned up. Then we've got some other special videos, something a bit different. So, long story short, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe so I can buy better cameras, make better content, and do all sorts of cool stuff. Thanks a lot, guys. Keep at it. Catch you in the next one.